Hello, Knick family. Welcome to Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the MBK Network. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime I go live or drop a video. Shout out to Simeon Russell of Nothing But Knicks. Forever grateful. Today, we're talking about the changing roles of last year Knicks based on the free agent signings that we've made. You know, what's IQ's role is going to be? What's Obi's role going to be, given that at this point anyway, Randle hasn't been traded, Fournier hasn't been traded, Burks has been traded, but he was replaced by Brunson. Noel and Kemba wasn't playing that much anyway. They really weren't in the rotation. So we'll talk about that. I'm joined today by Jarrell for now, and whoever else wants to join, I'll drop the link a little later on. How you doing, Jarrell?
What's going on, Steph? Like it's nice beginning of the week. Just came from the holiday.
Yes.
I actually didn't catch you and Tony's show yesterday, but I caught it today. It was a pretty good show, man. It's good stuff with
Appreciate you.
Nick's front office stuff, and we're gonna continue today. And salute,
Yeah.
salute to everybody in the chat too.
Yeah, definitely. The Knicks play summer league. I'll talk with you after if you're available. If we want to hop on and do a little post game or something,
Okay.
we'll talk about it. Shout out to Pudge Nice, Geraldine MacGyver, Deron Wayne, David G, JJ. I appreciate you guys rocking with us, and I'll drop the link in a few. Anybody want to hop on and give their takes till I get those phone lines up? I'm working on it. Um, no, I'm not watching Homegrown now.
I'm about to put it on now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I ain't want no distractions, but since he said it, I'm gonna put it on
yeah,
just so I could give a little feedback of what I see.
right. I might have to. They usually replay it,
Yeah.
but I should have taped it so I could watch it
And
watch
we
it later.
start on Friday, right?
Yep, Friday
Okay.
8 p.m. ESPN 2. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see Keels. I know you're not very high on him, but I saw a video of him. He lost some weight. The
Nice.
jump shot was looking smooth, but again, these were drills. This
Right, right,
wasn't
right, right.
game action, you know? So I'm looking forward to seeing him. And I'm also looking forward to seeing Gene Montero, the point guard. Slender, slight frame. But from what I understand, he's a pretty good playmaker, and he can get to his spots and he can shoot. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And seeing where Grimes and Sims are. We'll talk about them a little bit more today as well.
I'm
Anything you're
very
looking forward to?
Yes, I am very interested in Montero.
Mm-hmm.
Much as I like Deuce, he'd be in trouble if Montero has a good summer league. Let's just say that because offensively, he's exactly what Deuce is not.
Mm-hmm.
But like if they value Deuce's defense, then he wouldn't have a problem because he's a way better defender than Montero.
Right. But let me ask you this. As far as McBride is concerned, like his mid range is really good.
Hmm.
And so is Gene Montero's, from what I understand. But you think Gene Montero's game is a bit more expanded than just the mid range?
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
better 3-point shooter and just better all around of getting his own shot. Like he's better handle, better feel
Right.
for the game. He's a better playmaker. Like
Right.
like on offense, he's exactly what Deuce would want to be like if he wanted to make the rotation for the New York Knicks. Let's just say that.
Got you. Got you. If we can put both of them together.
Oh, it'll be so lovely. We will have a start. We wouldn't have had to get Jalen Brunson.
Wow.
Let's just say that if they actually, can combine their offensive defensive games with their ages too, like we wouldn't have been able to or wouldn't have to have gotten Brunson. Let's just say that.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is that Montero, from what I understand, is a true point guard.
Hmm.
And McBride, at least coming out of West Virginia, was billed as a shooting guard in a point guard's body.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
So
I do like Deuce. I
I
really
like him
do
too.
hope he get a chance to play and everything. But nothing's gonna be handed to him, so he's gonna have
Right.
to earn his minutes.
Right. I think he will. I mean, you think about Lowry, there's a few others, but Lowry is the one that comes to mind of those who started slow. Brunson
Right.
started slow, started, coming off the bench, and then eventually got a starting job. So um, let's see what happens with that.
Hmm.
So We signed Brunson. Well, is this our first time meeting since the free agency?
No, we had a remember you had a show on Friday.
Oh, I had a show on
We
Friday.
had the
All right, all
Friday
right, all
show.
right. We
We talked
did, we
about
did.
Brunson a little bit.
Yeah,
I love the move. So
right. Yeah. So we signed Brunson. We shot. We point guard. We signed Hartenstein. Last played with the Clippers at center, probably a stretch center. Though he only took about 33 pointers, he at least took them, and he hit 14 of them.
yep.
Julius Randle, at least as of now, hasn't been traded. Fournier, at least as of now, hasn't been traded.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about the role of last year's Knicks on this new team, right? Because as much, the narrative is out there that the Knicks is going young, not much has changed in the roster. If you ask me, a lot of us wanted IQ to start. I wasn't one of them. I thought IQ needed at least another year just to learn the difference between when to shoot and when to pass.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not going to start. Brunson is here.
Right.
He's going to be a backup, right? He's going to remain in that backup role. If Rose is not moved, there's still a log jam there. Obi is still behind Randle.
Right.
Fournier is still on the team. So Grimes or Cam, one of them are going to be out of the rotation. We're going to talk about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's start with the more obvious. Let's start with IQ. Okay. So obviously he won't be the starting point guard next season. Right. How disappointed are you with that?
I like IQ. Don't get me wrong. Am I disappointed? No, because I'm just like everybody else. I'm not, completely convinced that he can be a starting point guard in the league. So since I'm not convinced, I'm not disappointed. But I'm still glad we still have him coming off the bench though, because I think he could be just like a microwave off the bench. So I'm not disappointed. I'm just glad we still have him though.
Yeah. I actually think that he can go back to the role he had his rookie season. And I think he's going to be so much better having had point guard minutes, playmaking minutes. So I see him being able to play both the off guard and the two guard. And if you put him in that backcourt with Derrick Rose, any one of them can handle the ball. Any one of them can bring it up, similar to what they did his rookie year.
I actually think in the fourth quarter is going to be him and Brunson, and I'm actually intrigued in seeing that backcourt because just like you said, with him and Rose work, I can see him and Jalen Brunson working even better because at this point Brunson is better than Rose. So I actually think that's definitely going to be our backcourt going into the fourth quarter. At least it should.
Right, to close games. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that to close games, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if IQ was closing games his rookie year with Rose.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like once remember when he got there, Rose wasn't there. I think that's the year Rose got traded, like in the middle of the season. So by the end of the season, I think it was him and Rose.
Yeah. Shout out to Sherwin M. Appreciate you for rocking with us. IQ will not average more than 15 minutes a game this season. He's not good enough to get more minutes. I mean, this is what I will say about role changing. Brunson is coming in. You would think Brunson is going to average 32 minutes at least, right? All right, 30 minutes at least. I think it's going to be more than 30. I probably 32, and I think 32 is on the low end. So that leaves 16 minutes at the backup point guard spot. If Rose is here, this is going to be interesting. It's easy if Rose becomes situational. You could plug quickly right into those minutes. You could plug Grimes behind Fournier. You can plug Cam behind RJ. Hartenstein behind Mitch. Obi behind Randle. And that's clean.
Right.
If Rose is going to get minutes, somebody is going to be the odd man out because I don't believe that Tibbs is going to play 11, right?
No, absolutely not.
He's not. So
when it comes to IQ, I don't mean, did I cut you off?
No, go ahead. I was just going to ask the next question, but let's finish this up.
it's just when it comes to IQ, like he's definitely going to get more than 15. I think he had like over 20 minutes last season, so I don't see his role actually reducing just because Jalen Brunson. I actually think he might even play more.
Okay.
He
So
might not start, but he's going to play more minutes.
yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. What that's going to mean for Grimes and Cam,
Hmm.
in that next in on the second team.
Okay.
Um, but to you and to the chat, and I hear this a lot. IQ's development is going to be stunted if he's not able to get a lot of minutes. I never really understood that. If there's somebody in the chat that can explain that to me, I never understood how development is stuck. If you're getting some minutes, game time minutes, I don't believe that those who play 30 minutes develop faster than those who play 20 or play 15. There's levels to it.
Right.
You get your minutes, whatever they are. You go into the summer, you build off of that, you come back. Hopefully, you're better. Look how many minutes Kevin Knox got his rookie year. He wasn't that much better.
Right.
His second year. So I don't believe his development will be stunted. But I'm interested in your opinion, and then I'm going to drop the link for somebody who wants to hop on and answer that question as well.
Okay. When it comes to being stunted, no. Like unless the minutes are something crazy, like I could see if they were getting minutes. Like remember when Obi got drafted? Like in the beginning of the season, remember he got hurt. He came back. He was averaging like 4 minutes a game for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was wondering what Tibbs was doing. Stuff like that, maybe it will stunt somebody's growth when it comes to minutes being played. But if you're getting like 15, 16 minutes plus, no, there's no stunting. You're either good or you're not.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I like about IQ, and I don't know, he averaged 20, 23 minutes. He got an opportunity to play at different points in the game. So he
Hmm.
played on that second team, but he also got experience closing games
Yep.
as well. And that's important for his development. I really think he's going to have a strong season. It's still a little congested. In order for him to get, if he's playing strictly behind Brunson, that's 16 minutes.
Right.
If he's going to get more minutes than that, that means you have to play him at the two. If you're
Hmm.
playing him at the two, then that's digging into Grimes minutes or Cam minutes. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all of this plays out. Do you think he'll still have a prominent role on next year's team, or do you think it's going to be a reduced role? Sherwin thinks he's going to have a reduced role. Um, what do you think?
I think it's even going to grow more than it did last year because I think IQ is one of those players. I think he's going to get better every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like even whether you like him or not, excuse me, whether you like him or not, I think he has the work ethic that he will be better than he was last year. He might not be better at playing point guard, but I'm just talking about as an overall player. Like he's going to
Mm-hmm.
add something to his game. So just because of that, I think he will actually play more. Tibbs is going to trust him more because I don't think of him as being a type of player that will, he won't fall back because I don't think he's the type of player to do that. Like I think he's going to just keep on ascending. He'll plateau at he has a ceiling just like everybody else's, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to happen for a few years from now.
Okay, all right. I was going to talk about Sims next, but let's since we're on him getting more minutes,
Hmm.
let's talk about Grimes' reddish roles.
Right.
Because if IQ gets more minutes, one
Hmm.
of them guys is not getting it's going to get less minutes or going to be out of the rotation. So
Hmm.
this is what I think the starting lineup will be, though I agree with JJ, a Brunson, Fournier, backcourt. Defensively, I'm not sure how that's gonna work. At least we got Mitch back there because there might be a lot
Right.
of players getting in the lane. But let's just say it's Brunson, Fournier, RJ, Randle, IQ. Pretty much what it was last season with just Brunson starting as opposed to Kimba or Burks.
Okay.
Who do you see as, and the chat can answer this too, who's the bench? Who's that second team?
Wait a minute. You said IQ is the last person. You meant Mitch. I
Mitch.
think. Right.
Oh, did I say IQ?
Yeah, you
I meant
said
Mitch.
IQ at the
Mitch,
same.
Obi. Excuse me. Oh, I know people would love that. Mitch, Randle,
Right.
RJ, Fournier, and Brunson.
Right. So it'll have to be IQ, Grimes, um, Cam, Obi, the new kid from,
Hartenstein or
yeah,
Sims.
I'm about to. It's going to be Hartenstein. It's not going to be Sims.
Okay.
Sims isn't going to get minutes over him. So that's the backup five right there.
All right. Now, and this is the dilemma. Where does Rose fit in there?
Rose will be a $14 million clipboard holding situational player, just like Taj was last year.
Okay. Okay.
Like he'll
Uh,
come into the game, somebody get hurt, obviously, or
mhm.
if a game is out of hand and IQ is having an off game, I think Rose comes in. It'll be situational. But will he
Okay.
play every night? No.
Okay. Building blocks agrees with you. And that, if that happens, that'll be really clean.
Hmm.
Like then you could see the minutes for others because now you got Grimes and Cam
Yep.
getting backup minutes. Not going to be a lot if you think about it. Um, Fournier, there's been times though when Fournier didn't play in the fourth quarter. There's been times when he's played 28 minutes, I want to say.
Hmm. To
So,
my knowledge, I don't think he played in the fourth quarter much at all.
right.
Like last year, usually it was IQ and somebody else.
Mhm.
Tibbs usually had played him all of the third quarter though.
Right. Right. So then that leaves more wing minutes if he's not going to get 30, 32, 36 minutes. That's going to leave more. RJ, forget it. You playing behind RJ,
Right.
you're not getting a lot of minutes.
And you shouldn't.
Right. And you shouldn't. Now, the other thing that's going to be interesting is Obi playing behind Randle. And Tibbs maybe not wanting to go unless something has changed with a small ball lineup. Now, maybe he'll change. Maybe he's seen some things, in Obi near the end of the season that he trusts a little more. Maybe he'll go with it. But I can't imagine. I cannot imagine, and somebody correct me if you think this can happen. I don't see Randle getting less than 32 minutes a game.
Well, he shouldn't either, to be
Yeah,
honest.
he's gonna get more than 32,
Right.
but I don't even see I don't even see 32 because 32 would leave 16 minutes at the power forward spot. If
Right.
he's on this team, he's getting more than 32 minutes.
I mean, if he's the best player, and he still would be, technically he should be getting paid. I mean, not getting paid, but he should be playing more than that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So so any disappointment, and this is to the chat as well, that Obi's role, given how well he played down the stretch, may not increase that much? Or do you think it will, that they'll go small ball?
Hopefully for me, I think they should go small ball, but that's obviously up to Tibbs. And you can tell he seemed like he really does not like that because Randall or Obi don't seem like they were capable of playing the five.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it seems like Julius Randle should be capable of playing the five if he's going small. Like if somebody like Draymond, even though he's not as good as a defender as him,
Mm-hmm.
he is a better player than Draymond overall. So like he should be able to play the five at least some minutes for him and Obi to be on the floor at the same time. So am I disappointed? Yeah, that's just because I don't think Tibbs is going to do that, but he should. And I think a lot of people, I think it just depends on the players. Like if he does it, especially like in the preseason or something that actually works, then he'll go with it.
Yeah, I would like to see the Knicks go small at times as well. And as a matter of fact, you can have a regular rotation, where not just in an emergency situation, you could just say, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes a night, whatever it is, or 5, 6 minutes a half.
Right.
We're gonna go small ball and make teams adjust to us. The thing about it is, it has to be something you commit to.
Hmm.
This is just it. This is just how we play. D School is 718. I mean, I hope you're right, but in order for that to happen, we're gonna have to go small ball because Julius Randle is not playing 28 minutes a game, so Obi can get 20.
Right.
So we're
And
gonna have to be creative in how Obi would get more minutes.
unless people think that Obi's going to play the 3 for some reason, I don't see those minutes coming at all.
And this is the thing. This is the thing. We think about that starting lineup, other than Fournier, because we have experience in his minutes cut down depending on the situation. If you go small, you cutting into somebody else's minutes also, right?
Yep.
So if you go small, either Mitch or Hartenstein is going to get less minutes.
Yep.
There's
So,
just no way around it.
right. That's up to Tibbs. And plus, I guess, to be honest, when it comes to the fans, I think they will always just go with who they like more. So since Julius Randle's had the season that he just had, so a lot of people are clamoring for Obi's minutes. So that's understandable. It just depends on who, as a fan, what player do you think is best for the team? That's all.
Right. Old head, appreciate you for rocking with us. Obi's minute will depend on the score. If we up big, Obi gets more time. You know what? I agree with you. I hope that's the case because remember, we've been up big at times and Tibbs would still stick to his rotation, even though we're up big. And we're like, listen, we up 20 points with 3-4 minutes left. Take the starters out, let the bench, finish the game. So that doesn't always happen. And I also thought those games in which Randle seemed disinterested, like, okay, let me backtrack. I still think Randle is, if not the best, one of the best players on this team.
Of course.
I don't think Obi is at a point where you cut back Randle's minutes drastically so that Obi can play. So I'm not for cutting Randle's minutes down to 28 so Obi can get 20 or cut them down to 24 and them sharing time. I'm not for that, but I am for a small ball lineup as a way for Obi to get more minutes. But I also think those times when Randle implodes and he doesn't seem to, I think Obi should get more minutes. Those games and when Randle seems disinterested and his head is not in the game and he's only playing one side of the ball, I think Obi should get more minutes.
Exactly.
I agree. And then as Old had said as well, if we're up big, Obi and others should get more minutes. So whether or not that happens, remains to be seen. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how they increase Obi's minutes.
Right.
Put it that way. It's going to be interesting to see.
Especially without decreasing Randle's.
Right.
Because I don't think his minutes are going to be decreased at all.
Right. Randle is playing no less than 34 minutes.
How many did he play last year?
I don't know. Does somebody have that? How many minutes Randle played last year? Probably was more than 34.
About to look it up right now.
Yeah.
He's 35.
He played 35.
The year before, when we went to the 4th seed, he led the league with 37.
Okay. So
last year, 35.3.
Okay, so it did come down some. Front office have to decide. Shout out to 914's finest. I appreciate you. We was chomping it up at the draft party. Good conversation. Really great guy. Front office have to decide between Randle or Obi long term. I think they do, but I don't think they're there yet. Well, I think Randle is pushing them there on his own. That has nothing to do with Obi. Just in terms of his, based on last year, his inability to hone his emotions, the lack of leadership, blatant lack of leadership. Some people are quiet leaders. That happens, but don't be destructive.
Right.
And then also, just playing one side of the ball, at times. So I think he's pushing the front office to decide whether or not they want to keep him long term. I don't know if Obi's play at this point has made the front office say, you know what, Obi is playing so well, he's basically pushing Randle out the door. I don't think Obi's game is there yet, But this year, what I'm hoping to see from Obi is shooting a 3-point shot at least 35%. At least.
Ooh,
That's respectable. At least 35%.
that would be nice.
Because that way, I feel like, and I've said this before, right now, he's only effective in a transition game
Right.
or in a half court game if he sneaks back door for an alley-oop. Otherwise, in a half court game, what is he going to give you? But if he's hitting that 3-point shot at a respectable rate, now he could play half court basketball.
I just looked up his three. That's a big jump, though, Steph. He went from 30 to 35 then.
He shot 30% last year.
30.8, yeah. Well,
But listen, there was a point during the season where he was shooting 18.
Right. He did get better.
Where he was shooting 18%. And I think that was probably just confidence. Do you have his rookie season? Because he shot threes his rookie season. But probably 30% as well.
Yeah,
maybe even more than that.
That's around the same.
It's around the same.
He just took more. He just took a little more last year, especially towards like the end of the year. So he started hitting them. But you were right. Like in the beginning of the year, like halfway through the season before the All-Star break, he couldn't hit nothing. Like he was off.
Right. JJ, you're right. And I don't think Randle should be shooting them either. Not
Right.
at least at the volume that he's taking them. And if Randle can, he needs to be respectable too. But this is the thing. Even though Randle's not shooting them well, they still guard him. I think it's just habit. They still guard him. But the difference between the two, JJ, is that Randle has other things to his game. And I think for Obi, this is the next step, at least in my opinion, in his development. And if he can do that, now he could play half court, and that sets him up nice, because if he's shooting respectively, they're going to guard him.
Yep.
If they guard him, that creates space, for everybody else. And that also gives him an opportunity, if he has the skill, to put the ball on the floor.
Right.
And dribble in for a mid-range shot or whatever. So it opens up his game if he's able to do that.
I'm interested in seeing what him and Brunson could do too.
Yeah.
We finally got a guard that can actually do the pick and roll on both sides of the floor, like on both sides of the court. So, yeah.
For him and Mitch.
Yep, him and Mitch. You're right.
For him and Mitch.
And Sims. If he gets any burn with Brunson.
If he gets any burn. So you answered the question basically about the log jam. Just make Rose situational.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't even talked about Taj, though. Like, if Taj is coming back, yeah, he'll have to be situational too. But that doesn't cause any problems. The only problem would cause, if you heard about the Melo news today.
No, what was the Melo news?
Him and James Dolan got caught coming out of the same restaurant last night.
I saw that video, but I didn't. I saw him come out, but I just stopped it and I moved on. I didn't know Dolan was coming out after him.
Right. So it's speculation that it's a possibility that Melo comes back. So if Melo comes back, then all of this is being thrown out the window. We got to start all over again, because he's not coming to be situational, and Obi will be in trouble.
Yeah, we discussed this. I'm on so many shows. I don't know where we discussed it.
Right,
if it was here, if it was Queen's Court, if it was on a show with Sim, that if the question was, can Melo beat out Obi Toppin?
That's what it was.
Straight up.
Yeah, we talked about that. So we
discussed it. So it was us. It was us. Okay, it was us.
We was like, yeah. Yes, like at this point, yes. Like, I don't think anybody have that's not a hard thing to answer right now.
Yeah.
And that's Melo at almost 40. So, yeah, if Melo is on this team, he's going to play.
That changes everything. That means somebody else is out of the rotation. But I think if Melo comes, there's going to be a trade some way. I just can't imagine, because I think, like, you think Rose is going to be situational. I think Rose is going to play. I think Rose and IQ are going to go back to being that backcourt that they were the year we went to the playoffs. So now, if you do that and you got Obi, I think solidified at that 4 spot.
So
If
Cam is out.
if Melo doesn't come, we'll talk about that soon.
Right.
And then you got Hartenstein. I think at that other spot you're talking Grimes and Cam. Maybe they'll go with Cam because he's taller, and you're already short with Rose and IQ. So maybe they'll go with Cam.
I can't see Grimes not getting any minutes though. Not the way Tibbs trusted him last year as a rookie. That'll be hard for me to swallow. If anybody is not going to get minutes to me, is Cam probably, and he'll be getting traded, as they should, because they'll just lose him for nothing if they don't.
Yeah. Shout out to Pudge Nice, who thinks Grimes will be the odd man out. This is a tough one. Do you play Cam? Even if you don't expect, even if you're not going to sign him long term because it helps his value, even though Tibbs doesn't think like that, though. Tibbs thinks about what's going to help us win, not what's going to help somebody's value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I think if they decide to go Rose IQ, I think they're going to go small with Grimes too.
Yep.
I think they're going to go small with Grimes too.
I think Cam is the one that's out.
Yeah. Though I do think that to Duke Dayton's point, shout out, appreciate you rocking with us. I think Evan they've been fielding calls or actually making calls about Evan, but he's still here.
Right.
So let's see.
Yeah, see, if Cam started small forward, that means they will have RJ starting at 2, which I actually like. But that throws a wrench in everything also, if you think about it. Salute, Ron. Yeah, that throws a wrench in everything also.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Shout out to Ron, still Knick fans. Ron, we was just discussing it. I don't see a path forward for Obi. In terms of an increased role if Randle is still here. I don't see Randle playing less than 32 minutes, leaving 16 for Obi. And, hopefully if they do decide to go small ball, that'll definitely help. But that means less minutes probably not for Mitch, maybe less minutes for Hartenstein. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Obi's role is going to be, given not necessarily the free agent signings, but just given that Randle wasn't traded.
Right.
That's going to be interesting. And I'm looking at my notes. If Fournier is traded, chances are he's going to be traded for another player.
Right. So we'll be, depending on who that player is, we'll be in the same situation all over again.
Right. So if Fournier he's not gonna, unless they just trade him for a draft pick.
I think, a lot of that is just wishful thinking because we want him out of here for nothing.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I would. I actually
he's
don't.
He's the best shooter we have on this team, and we need spacing.
Right.
Now who's to say though how much Grimes will improve, how much Cam shooting will improve, how much RJ shooting will improve over the summer? But as of right now, he's our best shooter.
I wouldn't be mad though.
I wouldn't be mad, depending on who we get back. RJ, Randle, Mitch all play below the 3-point line, and Mitch plays in that little dotted circle underneath the
right
half circle underneath the basket. So you need the floor spacers, so this is going to be tough. But the point I'm trying to make is if they trade Fournier, chances are they're going to bring back a player, and that's going to still crowd the crowd the rotation and still present the same issues with Grimes and Cam.
See, that's why everybody wanted Fournier in the Brunson deal as a sign and trade, just because we want to get rid of Fournier, but that's not happening. Like, we can't just get rid of not these teams aren't just going to get rid of or get players that we want to get rid of. Not going to do that.
Right. Let me throw the link in here, because Ron, I hear you. But what I'm saying is, if he's on the floor without Randle, we're talking 16 minutes. And that's on the low end. Randle I think he's going to play more than 32 minutes. But if he plays 32 minutes, that leaves 16 minutes for Obi to be on the floor without Randle.
Unless Tibbs changes something in his philosophy.
And go small ball.
Right.
And go small ball and plays them together.
Yep.
Other than that, Ron, how many minutes can he get on the floor without Randle? You know, I'm interested. I'm about to drop the link.
It's the same thing going the other way with RJ. Like, I know a lot of people want Cam to, flourish and be part of the team or whatever, but how many minutes do you think Cam is going to play when Cam or Grimes are going to play if they're both playing behind RJ?
So that's the next question. What's Cam's role going to be?
Right.
On next year's team, being that there hasn't been significant changes to open up space for him.
I actually think he's the most cloudiest on the team, just because he got hurt at a time where he shouldn't have. It was like bad luck. Like, he was just starting to come into getting minutes from Tibbs. He had the perfect lane to start getting minutes, and boom, he got hurt just like that. So, it just all depends. I think it's completely up in the air. I don't think anybody knows what Cam role is going to be next year. That remains to be seen. I don't even know if Tibbs knows until training camp starts.
Until training camp. Yeah. And then even, Ron has joined us to offer some clarity.
I don't know about that.
Hello, sir.
What's going on, y'all?
To say something, huh, Ron? You came on here to say something.
Yeah.
We're talking about how players' roles may change given the free agent signings and moves that weren't made, like Randle and Fournier, at least yet. Now, you're saying Obi is going to shine getting minutes without. I mean, he pretty much always plays without Randle on the floor. But do you see him getting more minutes? And how?
Okay, let's see. First off, salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to Jarrell and Steph. As always, a pleasure chopping it up with y'all. Excuse my camera. I'm here in the darkness lounging, so don't mind me.
Hey, man. If I wasn't scheduled to be on here, I'd be sitting up there lounging too, right?
I would say you're right. And that's the thing. But my whole thing is, I think Obi has shown enough that he deserves to get a shot playing with the big boys. So, and I know that's not going to happen all the time, because Randle is going to be the guy. He's going to be the starter. But I think Obi also needs to have a chance to be out there with that type of unit, not always running with the second unit. And when that does happen, I don't think that he can be on the floor with Randle at the same time. I know the Knicks did do it a couple times where they had Randle at center or vice versa with Obi. I just don't like it, because I think they play in the same spaces. Even though Obi hasn't shown that that's his game, when Randle's out there, I feel like Obi is hesitant to try to do things, because he just stays in one spot and lets Randle orchestrate from where he likes to be. And that's not helping Obi offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But with regards to what you're saying as far as the minutes, you are right. It's going to be tough. But you know what? At some point, someone has to say that Randle played way too many minutes consecutively last season. It's not even about, if he played 30 to 34 minutes per game. It's about how they had him playing the minutes. Like, playing 10, 11 minutes in the first,
Right,
quarter. That's
Right, right,
crazy.
right.
right, right.
So I think it'll still be it'll work out fine if you just manage the minutes a little better. Randall's definitely going to play the majority of the time, but if Obi somehow can get 18 minutes, there's 18 minutes used properly, and there's 18 minutes the way they used them last year. Like it was just too all over the place. He couldn't form any consistency.
Right. Well, that's easy because I think he averaged 17 minutes last season.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think no, I actually think that Obi's minutes will probably it's not going to go up too much, but I think he might kind of settle around 19, 20 minutes. And it's only 3 minutes or more, or maybe 4 minutes more, but it does make a difference. And at some
But
point,
where are
that's
they
the
coming
average.
from? Those 4
Well,
minutes
Yeah, where
not
they
coming
coming
from
from?
Randle.
this is where I think that the Knicks are going to start messing around with different lineups. I, I also feel like, and I know Jarrell just said something about that small ball and different things. I
Mhm.
also think, and I'm not 100% sure about this, it all depends on what the Knicks do with the rest of this offseason. I don't know if they're going to try to come with the same mentality they came into last year with. Last year preseason, they were
Mhm.
talking about threes and stretching the floor, and they were going to
Mhm.
have everybody on. I don't know if they're going to do that this year. With the
Mhm.
personnel they got right now, it's
Mhm.
not like they got a bunch of really good shooters. So I expect
Right.
them to attack the basket.
Right.
I think they're going to do a lot of that. Pick and roll, obviously, because that's what they did last year, but more of
Mhm.
that and attacking the basket. So I think the 3-point shot is going to happen when it happens, but I don't think they're going to focus the same way they did this current, year.
But how does that help Obi though? I mean, I think it'll help him in the pick and roll. Like if he's in pick and rolls, that'll help. If they put him in pick and rolls, that'll definitely help him score. But I don't see him as somebody that's going to face up to the basket, put the ball on the floor, pull up for a jumper. Like I don't really see that. Do you?
I think that that's probably one of the things that all these Knick players are working on. RJ's definitely working on it. Quickly's working on it with Drew Hanlon. I mean, Chris Brickley. I think he's with Brickley.
Mhm.
RJ's with Hanlon. And I think I wouldn't be surprised because the funny thing is we don't know what Obi's doing. Notice that they haven't talked about, we haven't seen videos. I
Right.
think that is what he's working on because he knows that he's going to be expected to do more. I definitely
Absolutely.
think we're going to see more of that stuff. Remember last year's summer league, we saw him take a couple moves and do a couple spin moves around the
Hmm.
paint and get to the
Hmm.
basket different. I expect to see more of that. I think Obi can do it, but as he said, his confidence was shot because Tibbs put him in the dungeon. So I think he's much stronger willed this time around, and I think he's going to do it in spite of Tibbs because that's what he
And
had to
that's
do last year.
what we need from him. Like
Yeah,
to me, like
Okay.
everybody is like, "Oh, it's Tibbs' fault. He's screaming at him." To me, I'm saying if you can't take that, you're
right.
gonna have a hard time functioning in this league. Obi don't
Right.
care. I mean, not Obi. IQ. Everybody is different. I get it. But if you're gonna play in New York, your skin is gonna have to be a little tougher because I can definitely see at some point if the fan base turns on Obi, he doesn't come across to me as somebody that's going to be able to handle it. We shall see if it does happen. Because to me, it seemed like he was crying.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta look over my shoulder. Tibbs over here. I gotta look over my shoulder. And now that I don't have to look over my shoulder, I feel much. I'm like, yo.
Mm. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I get it, but nah, I just need you to perform regardless. So we shall see. Like I said, um, I don't see 20 minutes unless they play together, Ron. I don't see it.
See,
You
to
might
me,
be right. You might, but you know what? I mean, I feel like that it's going to be tough for him to really play out there with Randle. However, if Obi's confidence is high, then maybe that's a moot point. Maybe he starts to
Right,
feel like, okay, if I can't get into the spots where Randle's occupying, I'm gonna
right.
shoot from the outside. Because one thing
right.
I think I'm gonna say this, I think Obi is not as bad of a shooter as he showed earlier in the season. Like you give him the reps and he lets it fly from different
Hmm.
spaces. I think
Hmm.
he's confident, and we'll see. Because me
We'll
and
see something better.
John from Still Knicks had that conversation.
Give us a
We were
minute,
going.
IG. I see you there. Hmm. Go
We
ahead.
were saying who if you give Randall 10 shots from the 3-point line and Obi, who's going to have a better percentage? And
I
I
think
was
they
saying
about the
Obi.
same.
Well, I mean, yeah, it could be similar. It could be
They both
similar.
shot 30%
Yeah, they both
this
shot the
past
same.
season.
That's true.
Only
You know,
thing, only thing, Randall shot like 41 the year before. So
but that was
Correct.
the only year. I don't think Randall is a
right,
good
right,
3-point shooter overall. I mean, he had a that
right,
was if he could. If I need both him and Obi to make it respectable, if they can get to 35%, um, that would be um, that would be respectable.
Mm,
We shall see, Ron. I think for me, and I've said this before, when it comes to Obi, I see him as a rim runner. I appreciate what he does in terms of spacing the floor vertically, going back door for the alley oops. I need to see his offensive game expand. Now,
right,
some people
hmm
feel that he already has it. It's just a matter of being put in places where he can show it. And then there's some that believe that the reason he's not getting that time is because he doesn't have it and he needs to develop it. But you can't just be a rim runner. That's going to limit your opportunities to play. Like you
Right.
need to be able to hit that three. You need to be able to, just do different things offensively that just increases your chances of being on the floor.
Right.
Basically,
Right.
otherwise it's just he has to play with IQ. No, he shouldn't have to just play with IQ. He should be able to play with anyone. We have a point guard now. Let's see if that makes a difference. I don't even know he's going to get minutes with Brunson, though.
See, that was going to be my point. I think it depends on. I don't know. It might not even depend on Obi. I think a lot of what Ron said is predicated on Tibbs changing what he did the past couple years.
Right.
So if he changes, then yeah, I could see Obi getting more minutes. But
Mhm.
that just remains to be seen if he can actually, not if he can do that,
If he will do it.
if he will change his philosophy when it comes to small ball. Because if he doesn't, then I really don't see how he would get more minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Steph, before
Yeah.
you move on, let
Hmm.
me just say this one last thing in
Absolutely.
reference to
Yeah, yeah,
Obi,
yeah, yeah.
because you're right, and then Pudge said it in the chat too. Yeah, Obi's soft, but you know what? I guarantee you, if not every single team in the league, 90% of them have a soft player on their team. It's about knowing how to work with that soft player you got and still
Right.
get the best out of them.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
I don't know if Tibbs is that guy, but
Hmm.
Right.
we need him to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we shall see. I mean, I hate this. I hope that's not the case. I just hope it's just, more confidence issue. Yeah.
I
Let,
haven't
let,
seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet, Steph. I'd be clamoring for Obi to just dunk on somebody. Like I want you to act like the
yeah.
the opponent is the rim and you going through them. And I don't see that from Obi. I
Right.
see a lot of highlights with
Right.
nobody there.
Right.
Right. And when him
Right.
and Randall plays together, like they occupy the same spot. Like I don't see like I see Randall playing, I guess, Obi in the dunker spot. So Randall is there. He can't be in the dunker spot if Randall is because Randall plays below the 3-point line himself.
Hmm.
Um,
I think it all is predicated on Tibbs, and if their offense has to change, it has to,
right,
especially with Brunson now. I'm intrigued to see how much it would change just with Brunson running
right,
things, but
right.
it will have to change.
Yeah. And I think if they play together, one of them is Obi is the 4. He's gonna have to stretch. He's gonna have to hit the 3.
Right.
Yeah. So
If,
yeah,
if the
that's gonna
ball,
be
if the ball, I don't mean to cut you off, Step, but
mhm.
if the ball moves around, as long as the ball keeps moving, Julius could get threes at the 5 too. Ball just has to keep moving. It
I
depends
don't
on the
even want
offense.
Julius shooting a 3. I
He's
just
gonna
feel
shoot
like
them though,
if
Steph.
he don't get that percentage up to 35%, like don't even shoot it.
You got to think about the type of player he is. He's going to shoot the 3. He almost has to at this point. His game is completely changed, and I don't see him going back. He can't do a 180. Hopefully, he shoots better, but I don't see him going back. Maybe he can dial it down a little bit, but he's still going to shoot them.
Right, right. Shout out to KJW Events. I miss you, brother. I ain't seen you in a minute. Ajay, first, welcome. And can you please tell me how to pronounce your name?
You,
And
you got
then
Steph. You got it right, Ajay.
Ajay, I got it right.
Salute, salute,
Ron,
IJ.
hey, what's up, man? Hey,
Salute.
Ron has it right too on his show. So salute to the panel, salute to the chat.
That's
Hey,
what's up. That's what's up.
So hey, listen, I want to say something on that OB Julius thing.
Okay.
First of all, that's like the easiest position to manage because there's only two power forwards.
Yes.
It's very easy. That's
Yeah.
like super easy. And what I think's gonna happen, they are going to reduce Julius Randle's minutes because I don't know if you guys noticed, and they noticed that when Julius Randle plays a lot of minutes, he becomes ineffective.
Mhm.
He doesn't run back on defense. He doesn't, he becomes a poor defender. But
Right.
Julius Randle, he's actually a really good defender. So if you and they'll know that they'll
Right.
notice if you cut his minutes back to maybe like Steph, I don't know what I wrote, maybe 28 minutes or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't think
We
his
gotta be
minutes gonna
realistic.
be.
No,
I
but
don't think it's gonna
you're-
be cut
you're-
back that far.
28 is
you're
crazy.
gonna have the same production. He's still gonna give you the 2010, but in less minutes because there's gonna be less turnovers, and he's gonna be a better defender because and the ball. That's another thing. The ball will stick less because there's gonna be more movement. Listen, he's human. There's but so much you could do if you're moving fast and if you're
Right.
moving for so many minutes. They're looking at all these statistics and they can see this. They may not do it immediately, but they're gonna gradually cut his minutes back.
You know what I think has a better chance of happening, and Ron alluded to this a little earlier, changing how the consecutive minutes that he gets. I see that happening more so than it like a reduction from 35 to 28. That's huge.
At 28 to 30, I think so. Yeah, and it's not much. He's only losing 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes,
5 minutes
but it becomes very handy at the end of the game when you need somebody to go get that last shot. He's
no,
gonna
no
have
doubt about it. But what I'm saying is, like Ron was saying, instead of playing him 10, 12 minutes in a row, play him 6,
Right.
8, take him out, put
Tibbs was
Obi
playing
in.
him the whole first
You
quarter
know,
during
so
games.
so that way he might be getting the same amount of minutes, but he's fresher at the end because he's not playing consecutive minutes.
that would
Let's
definitely help. Yes,
yeah, let's see what they do. I can't imagine our Randle getting 30 minutes, but let's see. And yeah, let's see. They're gonna have to figure it out. And we haven't talked about this yet, but if there's anything do we know, even though Melo and Dolan came out of the restaurant one behind the other, did they actually eat together or they just happened to be in the restaurant at the
From the
same time?
from the video that I saw, James Dolan came out first, and the dude talked to him, and then right after him, maybe you can't really tell how long it was, but then Melo came out and got in his car, and he
Right,
talked
but
to
what
him.
I'm saying is does
They
that
did
mean
not
that
come
they
out
ate
together, no.
Right, but so does that mean that they ate together? They could have just been at the same
Nah,
restaurant.
they
That's
ate together.
that's a hell of a
They was
coincidence.
they was definitely there to
Right.
to chop it up about something. I
To
think they're trying to be as stealth as possible, but they did a horrible
Right.
job.
to me, if two rich people is having dinner at the same time at the same restaurant, they probably having dinner together.
And it's not like Dolan left with anybody. Dolan was by himself. Carmelo
Right.
left by
He's by
himself.
himself
That's
too.
just that's funky. I don't know.
Both of them were by themselves. Yes.
as a secret date. But my take is there's no room for a Melo on this team, unfortunately. I mean, we'd love to have him, with the whole farewell tour and all that stuff, but there's just no room for him on this team. So maybe
I
that was
think there is room for him on the team, but I don't know if it's as a player though. And I like
Steph, you don't want to give Tom Thibodeau Carmelo Anthony because then
He gonna play the hell out.
Oh.
He gonna play him. That's why.
yeah, and this is where the Knicks send, in my opinion, they send mixed messages. On the one hand, they don't draft Doran. They don't, they gave up, who was it? The 11th pick for those 3 first-round picks because they didn't want to pay first-round money. They got Doran. They gave him to, so you're like, okay, well, they all in on making the, making the playoffs. Then they signed Brunson. Then like, okay, if you all in on making the playoffs, then, give me a minute. What else are you gonna do? Nothing. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna still go young and then now here we are talking to Carmelo Anthony. You know, what is it?
Right.
You know what, Steph? I don't trust anything, and I'm a conspiracy theorist. I learned that the older I get, the more conspiracy theories I come up with. I honestly don't even know if Dolan meeting with Carmelo Anthony is a Knick move or it's a Carmelo Anthony Dolan move. Like,
Right.
because Dolan loves Carmelo Anthony, and Carmelo is like, damn, I want to be a Knick again, but they're not reaching out to me. Let me holler at my old boy Dolan. I don't know. I'm just
That could be
and
possible.
listen, Dolan might force that issue. Like he might not be in the Knicks' plans whatsoever, but Dolan might put Carmelo in the mix.
If he does that, Ron, then
That would be terrible for the team.
that's
That would be horrible. Yes, it would.
Well,
As
this is
great
where I
as
think
Melo
this is
is.
where I think it wouldn't be horrible, in terms of Randle having somebody that he could talk to that's on this team who understands what it's like to be in a pressure cooker in New York, and having somebody who can, you know, give him advice, lend an ear, and basically, you know, depending on the relationship they have, you know, say something to him when he's, you know, if he's getting out of line. But so on that part, I think he'd be helpful.
I actually agree with you when it comes to that. As a player on the team, yes, I actually agree with you. I wouldn't mind Melo on the team. I'm just talking about how he got there.
Right. But
Yeah,
I'm
Him
yeah,
being
yeah.
forced on Tibbs. That's what I'm saying is terrible.
right. And
It's just the way he
also,
No.
got there.
I agree with you guys that that probably won't be his role. Like I would, if he was just situational and he was there and he was lending that support to Julius, that would be great. But I agree with you guys. If we do sign him, he's not going to be situational. He will probably get minutes.
Yep.
That's why I don't like it. That's what worries me about it. Like if it's like that double-edged sword. If
Mhm.
Carmelo was less efficient and a little bit more a ways from being able to play basketball at a good level, then maybe you'd say, okay, he'll play his role, we'll get spot minutes, and you could just be comfortable that he'll just do what he can do. But I've seen Carmelo play last year, and Carmelo looks like he can still ball a little bit. And
Yes,
in
he can.
fact, outside of being able to run up and down the court with Obi, if Obi plays Carmelo one on one, Obi's getting cooked. So that's a problem to me because I know that Tibbs is going to be like, you know what, I can use Melo out here. It's like you
Right.
take away his crutches and then you give him new ones. You can't.
But
I don't know about that.
but listen to what we're saying. Listen to what we're basically saying. Melo can beat out Obi right now. So we don't want him on the team because he's better than Obi and he's going to take Obi's minutes. We
That's
need to
crazy.
keep him away from Obi so Obi can get minutes. I mean, I think,
When you put
you
it
know,
that way, it sounds stupid.
part of it though,
It sounds crazy. I know.
but teams do it though. Teams do it, right? If you got a young team and your focus is on development, you don't bring in those type of veterans. Or if you do bring them in, you sit them on the bench. You know they can beat out these young guys, but you playing the long game. What are the Knicks doing?
Well,
I
so
don't know.
here's the logic behind this. If you
Mhm.
bring so Melo's on his way out the door. I mean, he's like 38 years old, and
Mhm.
Obi's coming up. So you're not gonna win now. So it wouldn't make sense to bring Melo. So you better off developing Obi so he could become a Melo.
Mhm.
Because Melo is
That
gonna
ain't
be
happening.
on two
But
more
okay.
years. But because we're not gonna win now. Okay,
Right.
and I'm sure the front office they
Knows
understand
that.
that, and they let it be known that Jalen Brunson's not the savior. We're not going to the finals. So
Right.
Knicks fan. So and that's the logic. Let Obi play so he could become more like Melo. Like
He's not going to be Melo though.
yeah.
Melo is a 3-4. Like,
Yeah.
but I hear what you're saying. Give Obi the minutes to help him develop. We're not
Right.
going to the playoffs. Melo has been in the league for a minute. He's on his way out. I get you, but if the Knicks sign him, don't get on Tibbs because you hired him to win and he's trying to win. Don't get on him when he
Right.
rolled Carmelo out there because that's exactly what's going to happen. So I think the Knicks should just not sign him.
I agree.
Yeah, you might be right on
I
that.
love Melo.
You
That's
might
my
be
Just
right.
don't sign him because you can't ask a coach. I mean, I guess you can, but mm, that's yeah, that's a tough one. And
Before we move away from this, since we're talking
mhm,
about the four, do you
yes,
guys think that Isaiah Hartenstein that he's gonna playing some spot minutes at four sometimes? No.
I don't even think there's any no, he's a
Right.
7-footer, but there is no minutes
Because
available at the four.
we're trying to get Obi minutes at the 4, let alone him.
It depends. If
So
you're playing a big team like Cleveland, man, Cleveland got a bunch of trees. Maybe we'll throw him in there to.
yeah, I understand that. Knowing Tibbs, I can see him playing some at the 4, but at a consistent basis, nah.
Yeah,
Yes.
situational. That
He
maybe.
should at least.
Yeah, that's why I said spot minutes because it's not something that's going to happen a lot, I guess.
I can
Yeah,
see.
I don't think so. Shout out to Paris Duggar for rocking with us. Queen Obi was college player of the year. Stop being this is not college.
Yeah, that's not.
Can we
Yeah,
stop? This
that.
is not
Nah.
college. Obi is going to be 25 years old. When we drafted Obi, the expectation was that we was drafting somebody that was NBA ready, that he could come in right away and give us 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 rebounds, or something like that. And that hasn't been the case. I'm not hating on him. All I'm saying is, from what I've seen, his offensive game is limited and needs to be developed. I don't care what he did in college. I don't. So I want to see him. I'm interested in seeing where he is. And not just him, where's IQ? Where's Grimes? Where's RJ when they come into camp? What's the next evolution to their game? And the
Right.
same for Obi. Let Obi push Randle out the door. Push him
Right.
out the door.
Yeah, a lot of people keep on saying that Brunson is the obvious upgrade in the roster, but our team is so young that everybody on the team should be improved. That
True.
alone, at least they should. That alone should give us some more wins. Not just Brunson. Like Obi should be better. IQ should
Right.
be better.
Right.
RJ should be better. Cam should be better. Grimes. All of these young kids got to be better. You can't be like under 26, under 25, and not get better during the playoffs. I mean, not the
Yeah.
playoffs, the off season.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
well, I
doubt.
will say one thing, Steph.
Hmm.
You can't see. I don't have my camera on, but I got my cape on for Obi. I'm telling you.
Listen,
I
if Obi pops, I'm
It
happy.
is what it is.
I'm happy. I'm
Yes.
just not good. I'm just looking at his game right now. I'm not excited. To put it that
the only thing I'm gonna say is that I still feel
way.
like one of Obi's biggest detractions last year, outside of his toughness and what he has to go through and toughen up, and
Mhm.
is Tibbs. Because if Tibbs played Obi, I still think that Obi would give you some production. Obi needs consistent minutes in order to look. I mean, even though we want to say I'm throwing it out there because it is an example and it's all I got to use, but I
Mhm.
know the competition level is not the same. But remember when Obi was in the summer league? Obi was our best player in the summer league. He was
Mhm.
featured and he was a top 10 in the summer league. When's the
Mhm.
last time we had a top 10 player in the summer league? No matter who it was, RJ, whoever. Like these guys, Obi was the first that I remember in a while that was actually featured in the top 10 in scoring. So I'm just saying, you give Obi that time, Obi will give you some production.
See, the
Yeah,
crazy
they
part
got to
is
move
that
Randall though, because
I,
he's
They
not
do.
beating out
said
They
the
do.
Randall.
same thing. I was about to say, to be honest, I'm not a Obi hater at all. Like if Randall wasn't on this team, I think you would be absolutely right, and he will be getting the minutes. But since
Right.
the person in front of him is clearly better than him, then I can't. When you say give him minutes, where and when for who?
That goes to the point that the Knicks do. I don't know what they're doing, but that's the elephant. They need to move Randall. But I don't know. I don't know when that
But
ever is going to happen.
but I think they need to move Randall because of Randall. I don't think they need to
Not
move
because of
Randall
Obi,
because of Obi. I don't think
right?
Obi has done anything that make you say like he's ready to pop. We need to move off of Randall. Randall
Oh no,
has
no, of course not.
proven
No, no, no.
himself that he needs to be off the team for different reasons. But I agree with you. Listen, anybody can start in this league. Anybody can start in this league. Look who's starting in Detroit or Orlando, anybody can start in this league, anybody can score in this league. But you cannot, Obi is not going to have the same role as Randle. He's just not.
Right.
But can he score? Absolutely. If you got Brunson, RJ takes the next step. You got other scorers on the team, and Obi's role is to just do what he does. He will score. He'll score. But I don't think he's ready to have the same role Randle has, and that's fine.
Oh no.
That's fine.
Mm-mm.
But will he score? Sure, I could see him scoring. If you're pushing the pace, you're giving him alley-oops. If he's out at the 3-point line and he's hitting his 3-pointer at a good
Right.
clip, he can score. So I'm not saying Obi can't start in this league. I'm just saying I'm not going to say he's better than Randle because he's not.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not.
Well,
But I think in order for him to succeed, we will have to, play differently.
Right.
Like you say, his role and Randall's role are completely different. So you can't just take Randall out and put Obi in it and expect to give the same type of numbers we would be a completely different team.
Right. And I think that what you keep saying, Jarrell, is the key. We need to play differently because you know what? Our offense is not not all that great.
Right.
So-
No, we do.
Exactly.
No, I definitely agree with that.
So
Shout out to 9.T's finest. But listen,
one quick thing on this.
Yeah.
Is that a good problem to have or a terrible problem to have?
which problem?
Obi, like, do we want to play like between Obi and Julius? Like, who do we play?
I'm playing Randle because this is the thing, and I've said this before. This is not synchronized swimming, and this is not gymnastics. You don't get points for moving the ball. It looks good, but in order to win in this league, you got to have dominant players that can put the ball in the basket that other teams have to focus on, and then when they focus on that player, it makes it easier for other players. So yes, was I excited when Obi was? I love the way the Knicks play. I love the flow of the game. It looked great. But are we going to be a better team if you don't have players that can knock down shots? If you don't have players that can score and get buckets in this league? Just
Right.
moving the ball around and it looking better doesn't guarantee us wins. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So a lot of it has to do with confidence level when it comes to Obi too. You can tell. But with confidence, like Ron said before, comes with minutes. So it's double-edged sword. It all depends.
If they trade
on who you ask.
Randle, I don't have any problem with it.
Right.
But just keep in mind, if they trade Randle, they're not bringing back just draft picks. They're gonna bring back another player.
They have to at least bring back another power forward. You can't go to the season with just Obi as your power forward.
Well, technically, you could have Jericho as your other power forward because he ain't
Oh
a center.
my God.
I mean, he's
Vaughn,
really a power
Vaughn,
forward.
what are we doing here? What are we trying to do?
He's not. He's a 6'8" center.
He's 6'10". He's 6'10". 6'10".
Is he?
That's
Right.
I think they measured the hair when they was doing the measurements. I don't know if they got it right.
Where's Sherwin? Where's Sherwin? Sherwin
Right.
M. How tall is
He really
Jericho
6',
Sims?
6'6" and 1/4 without shoes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. But so let's talk about Sims. We're talking about roles changing after the All-Star break. Sims was the backup center. Now with Hartenstein, now presumably taking that role, what do you think Sims' role is going to be next season?
This is tougher than the power forward spot. That's why I was telling y'all that power forward spot, that's the easy one. Figuring out the other positions is tough.
I actually
We
think
have
this is.
at least three of each
Yeah,
of the other
I actually think this is just as simple as the power forward. I don't think he's going to be the third string center. Like we just signed 2 centers. One of them was here already. The other one just signed for $8 million a year. He's not going to play behind Sims.
You say third, I say maybe fourth. If
Ooh,
Taj
if
Taj
Taj
Gibson
comes
is there,
Nah.
You think it's over? You think it's over?
we're talking about Tom Thibodeau here.
Right.
But
Tibbs
listen.
might mess around and break Taj back and be a captain. Like we got captains all of a sudden.
Listen,
Captain
l-
Todd.
Captain
listen.
Todd.
When Mitch was healthy, and those handful of games when Noel was healthy, Taj didn't play. He didn't play. The only
Yeah,
time
so
Taj played was because Mitch was injured or Noel was injured. So if Mitch is healthy, Hartenstein is healthy, I don't see Taj playing. Now, those situational minutes, if somebody gets hurt, is it going to be Taj moving into the rotation or is it going to be Sims moving into the
Taj is
rotation?
coming, man.
I
Sims gonna
think it's
be in
going
the
to be Sims.
Sims gonna be in the G League again,
No, but I think
going up and
it'll
down.
depend on who we're playing against. You know, it may be Taj, it may be Jericho, depending on
Situationally, you mean?
situational. Yeah,
Yeah,
it could
yeah,
be
yeah.
either one of them. Depends on who, who's on the other team that they're playing against.
Yeah.
You know, if they, if we going against a backup center like Dwight Howard, I don't know. They probably put Jericho Sims because he's a bit bigger and
That's a
stronger
good
than
point.
Josh Gibson.
That's a good point.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. But yeah, I think Sims' role will be reduced. Um,
Yeah, I
and
think so too. Yeah.
yeah,
I really wish, honestly, I really wish that they would just go with, um, I guess
Mitch and Sims.
Sims, Hardenstein, Mitch, and then Randle and Obi, and then I guess buy out Taj, make him a coach or whatever. He still be with. I really wish there wasn't a need for Taj, but the whole thing is the health concern with a guy like Mitch. You still don't know, and it's almost like having a extra pitcher in baseball. Like you
That is
you
true.
might need that fourth big.
Right, I get
But
that
did
too.
Mitch didn't miss a lot of games due to injury. I know he was out for COVID, right? Did he get a lot of games from injury?
No. He only had like a small. I think he played 70 games last year, so he was great. But that was the first time I've seen Mitch do that. So I don't know
Right.
going forward. Plus, Mitch was out there. I mean, say what you will, it was a contract year. He played through nagging stuff. Now that he got his money, I don't know. We'll
That is
see.
true. That is true.
Oh, and you know what? You know when I thought that the two instances, maybe it was three, when he put the ball on the floor from the foul line and went. I said, all right, he just doing that because it's a contract year,
Yep.
trying to tease the Knicks as to
Right,
what's
right.
to come. And then there was something else he did, and I was like, whoa. We
Those
shall see.
moves were never seen again.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but you know what? The whole thing is maybe we won't have to worry about it as much because Mitch is coming into this year at least in much better shape, not with all that extra weight. So maybe he comes out the gate good, and we don't have to worry about it.
I hope so. I hope you're right, Ron.
I do too.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I don't think Taj. I don't think Taj is gonna play. And to your point, Ajay, I hope I said that.
You
Every
got
time
it
I
right.
say it, I'm like, did I
Hey,
get
yeah,
that right?
excellent. Ron knows.
Ajay. All right.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll have to practice these names, man. I got
yeah. Um, to your point, situationally, if one of them is hurt, that does make you make a good point, depending on the matchup. If Hartenstein is out with an injury, if Mitch is out with an injury, depending on the matchup, go with Sims, go with Taj, if he's here. And one thing I'll say about Taj at 986 years old, whenever you put him in, he gives you good minutes.
Word.
He does. He
He
does.
started hitting
And
threes
actually,
and
you know
everything
what?
last year.
The less he plays, the more effective he is. When he
Yeah,
gets in there,
absolutely.
he's really in
Absolutely.
spurts. Yeah.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he gets a couple of games last year. He gives like three 3-pointers, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's
Right.
what happened when you get old, though.
Yeah. Sims and McBride will learn from the bench. Yeah. I mean, talking about role changes, McBride didn't really have a role last year, and I don't think much has changed. Burks is out, but Brunson is in. Rose is coming back.
Yeah, it got worse.
It got worse.
It
Well, this
did.
is where we get to see if McBride really has that dog in him, because I think this summer league. I mean, a lot of people's talking about different things that they're looking for. I'm
Mhm.
really looking for the point guard matchup between Keels, Montero and McBride, and I think McBride is going to ball out because I think McBride still wants to be out of the young mix. He still
Mhm.
wants to keep that same role. He wants to be
Right,
next up.
right. But this is the thing, and Jarrell mentioned this when we started the show, the playmaking. Like I think Montero is a point guard,
Right.
and his playmaking may be a little ahead of McBride's, though his defense definitely is not. And I'm not saying he's a slouch on defense either, but he's no McBride.
Mm-mm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. And it seems like the Knicks are building up their G League roster. I might have to
Yeah.
catch some more Westchester Knicks games. If Keels is on that team, Sims, Montero, um, McBride, that's a good team.
That's a nice team to watch. Yep, especially in G League.
Yeah. Do you see any of those guys being on this roster?
Well, Sim should be.
Sims should be.
Yeah, Sim should be. I think that didn't they already convert his contract, so he's no longer a two-way. I think he's regular now.
Yes,
I think they did that already. I'm not sure.
They did. They did.
Yeah. So then, yeah, Sims ain't gonna be with that G League team. He's staying up.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Did
need
they
him.
convert it already? I know there was rumors of it, but I
But
think they will anyway because Keels. How else you gonna sign him?
Right.
You got it. You have to. Unless
Right.
you're gonna do, you gave up. I don't know how many Exhibit 10 contracts you have, but you gave out two of those.
Yeah, you give out
McBride
two.
has the two-way contract.
That's why I'm really, really interested in Montero. What they're doing with him. I really, really like him. If we didn't have Brunson, obviously, I think he would have a role on the team.
Really?
Montero is good. It's just that
Wow.
his defense, and for him to be so young, he's only 18 years old. Also,
Right.
like he can be like down the line, he can be a starting point guard in the NBA.
he's a great project. He's a very, very good project.
Very. So
Wow.
that's like I think we can actually lose him. Like you never know,
Right, because he's undrafted.
right? We can lose him.
But if you sign him to a two-way, no.
I don't know
Right.
exactly what he signed to. Was it a two-way?
How many
No,
two
he
ways
signed
do
to.
Exhibit 10 right
You,
now.
you
Exhibit
get you
10? So
get
you
you
can
get
lose
two
him.
two ways. I don't know how many exhibit tens. I might be two. I don't know,
So,
but
so
you
when it
definitely
comes
get two ways.
so when it comes to the Exhibit 10, like what are the stipulations of that? I'm not sure.
I don't know either, to be
I
honest.
think that you could bring him. You bring him to training camp.
Hmm.
They don't count against. They don't count their salary. Doesn't count against the salary cap. But I think you have to sign them. Like you can't
Right.
just have them on your roster as an exhibit 10.
Exactly.
At some point you're gonna have to sign them
Right. So that's what I'm
to
saying.
either
I
a
think
two-way or to the roster.
right. And we still got Rokas overseas too.
Yeah.
So I think
Mhm.
Montero, even though I like him, you know, I don't know about his future with the Knicks though.
All right. So I looked it up. The Exhibit 10 is a 1 year minimum salary contract.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically on a contract for 1 year at minimum salary. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they could pluck him off like that.
Okay. Okay.
But
All right. Well,
other guys in the G League team though they could pick off, at
Right.
will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but well,
They
if
have
we
to.
do have him
Did
for a
they
year,
sign
that's good.
Kills? I mean, if he's playing in summer league, they had to, right? I don't
Yeah.
think you could play in summer league without a contract, can you?
No, I think they signed him. I don't know what type of contract they signed him to.
Fine.
yeah, I think he. It's fine. Well, Keels we don't have to worry about because he was actually drafted.
You got to. But can he play without a contract though? He can.
Um,
Because
Well,
second rounders have to negotiate their contract.
I just don't know what they call those contracts for the rookies, like
Right.
that
He'll
that are
sign.
second rounders. Yeah.
I think they negotiated.
Mm,
There's no like rookie scale once you get to the
uh,
second round.
Right.
got it. Yeah. Well, they should have money for him.
Just a summer league deal is exhibit 10. All right. So I'm hearing. Can anybody confirm this that the Knicks were found to be tampering, or is that still to be determined?
I think it's
I don't think they got to do
determined.
much digging.
I
But
already told you what's happening.
like, personally, I don't see what's the big deal. I mean, I get it,
Can
the
we
whole
talk
thing
about
about tampering and losing a pick, but I mean, the last 3 tampering charges I saw that got executed, it was all second round picks. Okay, so take a second round pick. That's why we got 11 of them. I don't get it.
Yeah,
It is
but
what
what
it
if it's
is.
not though? What if it's
Exactly.
a first rounder? We don't know.
No, but it should. Well, I mean, I've never seen different levels to tampering. I mean, Chicago got slapped, and we all thought. I mean, Chicago had like a whole roster on the first day of free agency. I'm not, and they only got hit with 1 second rounder because of Lonzo. So
well,
I don't know why it would be different for the Knicks.
well, first of all, it's the Knicks, so we're not
Right.
as
Well,
lucky as
yeah,
everybody else. So
true.
they may want to use that as an example. But here's what's the difference with the Knicks. And if I may, why did the Knicks, the front office, so Worldwide West, Julius Randle, and anybody else from the Knicks organization, why did they have to go to Dallas to that game, front row? You really, I mean, you really putting it out there. You really didn't have to do that. They could have
Yeah.
went to the game and get a box, and nobody would know.
Right, right, right.
So they
right.
really did front row. You really, basically, you telling the NBA, you know what? I want you to slap me with temporary charges. They didn't have to go all the way to Dallas to see Jill and Brunson play. They didn't have to go there to talk to him. I mean, his father's like Thibodeau's son. They could get to him whenever they want. There was no reason for the Knicks to do that.
Honestly, I hated the look. I didn't like that at all.
It's true.
So the
That was
NBA
horrible.
may want to use that as an example and come down real hard on the Knicks because it was blatant. They didn't have to do that. There's no
That's a
reason.
good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah. Paris Duggar, don't get on us about Hartenstein. The New York Knicks signed him to a 2-year, $16 million contract. So it's not us bigging him up. The Knicks signed him. So get on the front office and their scouting staff. They signed him.
Right. He's going to be our backup center.
I mean, we didn't
Like this-
sign him. The Knicks signed him.
And plus, it's
Yeah,
not like
but-
we're expecting much from a backup center in the first place. Like
That's what I'm saying. I
Like,
don't
the
understand
contract
what's
that
the
he
big
signed
deal.
is the $8 million contract. Don't get me wrong, $8 million is a lot
Right.
of money to me.
Right.
But
Right.
as an NBA player, he's a backup center.
Right.
I mean,
But
our
as-
backup center last year was non-existent.
Right. And as a backup center, though, he brings a different look. And I think that's what we need. If you're going to bring back Mitch, I don't want him backed up by Sims, who does the exact same thing. I would like him backed up by somebody that gives us a different look. And Hartenstein does. And if he winds up being a stiff, it's the Knicks who signed him. Ron didn't
Right.
go out and sign him.
They said, yeah, salute to Paris. He said, we got him playing. Yeah. We have him playing. He's definitely going to play.
But
Yeah,
why
I
would they
think
go
he
out
is
and
gonna
get him
play.
if he's not going to play, though?
Right.
But you can't.
I know why. He's CAA.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, that's true too.
Well, then there you go. He will play. If that's,
Yeah, he would
if
definitely
that's
play
what
then.
you're saying.
Right.
What you was going to say, Ron?
No, I was just gonna say, even if you consider him a stiff in how you look at his role on the basketball court, for the New York Knicks, he won't be a stiff because the guy can bring things to the team. One, he's a good defender in the box or on the perimeter. We don't have a lot of big men that can do that. Mitch is probably the best at doing that. Even for whatever Sims does, Sims has issues defending. He still is working on his footwork, and his timing as far as blocks is almost non-existent. With all
I
that
don't think he's a
athleticism,
rim protector. I agree with you
yeah,
on
he's
that. I
not.
don't
That's
think
not
he's
his
a rim
game.
protector.
Yeah.
No.
But Hartenstein can do all of that. And to me, I still think the most impressive and important thing that I see from him is his ability to pass the ball. I mean, he throws good passes.
Right.
He's
And-
underrated
you know.
in that regard.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be helpful. Especially when you got guys like Julius Randle who ISO all the time
Right.
and don't necessarily, and even when he does pass the ball, he throws Michael Vick passes. Like, I just think Hartenstein is going to be good. I like what he can
And
bring.
for those who like ball movement, he will keep the ball moving.
Michael
That's true.
Vick. But that's when he's tired. When he's on his game, he throw like Andy Pettit, like fastball.
Right. I always call him Cam Newton. Like, I always gave him the Cam Newton moniker. But yeah, all these dudes got strong arms.
Sheesh.
Yeah, Randle for sure. But those passes.
Yeah, but Hartenstein is definitely going to play, though. I think it's kind of crazy to think he's not going to play. He just signed an $8 million contract like for 2 years with us. He's definitely going to play. He has to.
Yeah.
Especially over Sims. Sims was drafted in the second round and barely made the team last year. Like he's going to play over him.
Well, I get where Paris Doug is coming from because Paris Doug likes Sims, and he wants Sims to be able to get a shot to improve and get more time with the Knicks. I agree. I want to see more of Sims too, but as Steph, I hate it. Steph always brings me back down to reality. She's where's the minutes coming from?
Sorry.
I get it.
Right. Where's the minutes coming from?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, he can definitely shoot.
Sherwin, he may not be a floor stretcher, but he's better than Sims and he's better than Mitch in that regard. He took 33 pointers. How much did Mitch take? How many did Sims take? So I get it that he's not a Miles Turner that's going to be out there taking 3 or 4 3-pointers a game, but of those 30 he hit 14.
Right.
So if he takes more, his percentage may come down, but from 46 he has room to come down. With more volume. Listen, I don't expect him to be out there launching 3-pointers. It's just nice to know that every once in a while he'll take them and he hits them at a big clip, at a very good clip.
Like if he's out there open and you give him the ball, I want him to shoot it. If Mitch is out there wide open, pass somebody the ball. I don't want him shooting the ball. That's the difference.
How's his free throw shooting? Because between Mitch and Sims,
right? Oh my God,
Ajay, you get out of my brain, man. I was just about to say that.
Can somebody look that up? Paris Duggar, he is a backup.
I will tell you right now because I was just gonna say that between Sims shooting around 50% and Mitchell Robinson shooting at 48%. Hartenstein shoots 69% from the free throw line.
Right.
There you go.
That's an improvement.
So that's why I said earlier that he's going to be our center in the fourth quarter also.
He might close games at 68%. He might.
Right.
He might. He might. Because it's not like you're giving up a lot of rim protection with him either if he closes a game. I think in 18 minutes he averaged 1.1 blocks a game or something like that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
as much as he's a better player than Sims at this point in time, so he should play more minutes than him.
Yeah, I can't wait to preseason now. I'm interested in summer league as well, and then there's a long ways to go before we get to preseason. Any other thoughts on anybody's role that will change given the free agent signings we made, and also given the things we didn't do, like trading off Randle, trading Fournier? Any thoughts?
I think those things could still come. I think once this Durant and Kyrie trade go, I think a lot of other stuff comes after that. That the league is kind of at a stop right now until all that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, then unless we getting closer to like after the summer league and training camp and they're not traded and they actually stay in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
that's obviously a possibility too. But for us, I think the Randle trade can still happen. I'm not saying if I want it to happen or not, but it definitely can. Him and Fournier, they both can go. It's definitely a possibility. I wouldn't put it past the front office at all.
Yeah, wow. They were making calls on Cam as well.
Yep. Like if he's gone, like I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think I'll be surprised at any move unless, something egregious happened when it comes to, RJ or something like that. But other than that, I don't see me being surprised by any move the front office makes.
I got one for you guys. So it seems like Utah, it might be blowing it up, and Donovan Mitchell may be available. So what?
Really? Now I'm hearing mixed messages. So that's the latest.
Yep,
That's
I
out there.
heard both.
So that means us getting Jalen Brunson kind of takes us out of that race. We
Uh,
can't. We don't have a shot at Donovan Mitchell at all.
Nah,
I
that's
don't
not
think
true
so. I don't think so.
You don't
because
think?
we still have draft capital and we
Young
have
players.
players.
But we got to make the money work though, don't we? How you gonna make
No,
that?
no, we can make the money work, and we
Yeah,
got the move to make the trade. It's just,
Yeah.
do you want to do it? Because
Right.
Utah wants RJ.
Right. You would have to match salaries. So I mean, we would have enough players to match salaries. But the Knicks already said, unless they were bluffing just to send a message to Utah that we're not going to pay that high price, the Knicks already said that they're not going to give up that many assets for him and not be able to field a competitive team. Now,
see,
do
I
you
don't
think
I
even.
they were
agree.
just
I personally don't even
bluffing?
think it's that. I think it's RJ. I don't think they're just. I don't think they want to give up RJ. I think that's what it is, not the draft picks.
Okay.
But also basketball wise, would it make sense to have a backcourt of Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah,
To me,
that is pretty. That is pretty small.
in today's NBA, I don't think it matters.
I mean that deep.
Someone
No,
brought something up the other day. I don't know who it was, but I think they said something about a small team winning an NBA championship with Toronto.
Oh, with Lowry and Van Vliet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it depends on
Although
who.
the difference is both those guys play defense, though.
Both
That's
of
the
those guys play
difference.
defense. You're right. You're right. You're right. It wasn't just any small guys.
I still think
Guys
it
that get
depends on. I think it depends on the other people on the team and team defense and stuff like that. I don't think them being both 6'1" or 6'2" or whatever. I don't think that hampers them winning. Not in the NBA. Nah, not in the NBA. Not now.
I don't know about that, man.
I
Still a
mean, I
big man
think that
team.
both of them are capable of play. Like why Donovan Mitchell can play defense. Like he's capable.
Yeah, very
You know,
capable.
it's not like he's physically limited. You know, it's just a matter of buying in and being held accountable. Um, and Pudge and I said they had Kawhi, so they were pretty good defenders themselves. And
Right,
then they also had Kawhi. So
right,
to your point, Jarrell, they
Great.
would have to play pretty good defense, and then
right,
we would also need to have good defenders at those other
right.
positions.
It's possible.
Pascal Siakam was on there. He's another very
Hmm.
good defender.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
That's why it worked. It just depends.
Defender, so
It's
yeah.
like roster construction after them two.
Right.
But I think you can still win. Like it's possible. Like if that's the case, the only people that win championships are, you know, we don't have LeBron or the Greek Freak or Stephen Curry or like if you don't have one of those guys, if you're trying to win a championship, you can have to win just like Toronto did.
But Toronto had Kawhi, though.
Exactly.
They had one of those guys.
Oh, okay. I can okay.
Exactly. That's what I
missed it.
mean. Like you gotta
Yeah,
get somebody else too.
you need one of those guys, and that's why um, I was hanging out with Ron at the draft party, and I showed him a tweet of Detroit's young core. Like, if you want to build through the draft, that's fine, but you got to hit on one or two of those draft picks, right? Because if you look at Boston, you look at Memphis, you look at Golden State, they hit on those draft picks,
Yep.
right? And they turned into stars. So it's not about me not wanting to sit on the young players. It's just what are the caliber of the young players we're sitting on. If we had Detroit's roster, right? And we got Cade and we got Ivy and we got Sadiq Bey, who I love, and we got Doran. I'm sitting on that roster. I'm not trading anybody. I'm sitting on that
Right.
roster and let them bake and marinate and until they grow. So it's about who you're sitting on. I think that's the issue. That's the issue with me.
Yeah. Oh, and I was just thinking about another. If you're talking about, say, I don't know if that works. You
Yeah.
don't have the athleticism, no. But if you're thinking about a small backcourt with offensive players that are not known for the defense, really, uh, we've seen it with Portland, with McCollum and Lillard,
Yeah.
and they
That
haven't
don't
been able
play.
to
Yeah.
win anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
they
look
didn't
at
have any play defenders around
right.
them
That's what
either.
I'm
Correct. That's
saying.
true
Look at the
too.
players
That's
that
true
they
too.
wrapped around those two small guards. Like they wasn't supposed to win if you're going to construct your roster that way.
Right. And then when you look at Dallas, who had, and Josh, shout out to Josh, Uncle Fulio, who brought up this point. Dallas was one of the top defenders in the league as well once they bought in, and they had Brunson and Luka Doncic and
Right.
no rim protection.
And Luka don't play defense at all.
Luka don't play defense. That's
But
that's true.
But he bought in though. He bought in,
Right, right.
and his
Team defense,
defense definitely did get better as time went on. But
Right.
it's just a point. It's about how you construct the team.
Yep.
It's
So, like,
it's
say if we
definitely-
did get Donovan Mitchell, I'm not crying. If we still have Jalen Brunson, let's just say that.
right, and then it's up to what the Knicks can put around them. Because let's
Exactly.
face it, I don't care who you bring to this team. One player is just not going to do it.
Nope.
It's just not going to do it. I don't care who it is. Brunson and who you want to pick. So this is the question. This is a hypothetically. The Eastern Conference is so stacked. If the Knicks, what kind of star or superstar would the Knicks have to bring in to be a championship contender? Like, I just feel like they would have to bring in so much.
I don't think it's one player.
That's how far away we are.
Right. Like, say if you dropped, I don't know, we talked about Toronto and Kawhi. If you dropped Kawhi on this team and he was our starting small forward, we're not winning the championship.
I still don't think that's enough.
So
It's
what if in hypothetical, right?
Yeah,
That
hypothetical, absolutely.
doesn't make sense money wise or whatever, and that's not gonna happen. I don't want that.
Mhm.
What if you drop KD in the mix?
Still,
What we
I don't
have
think he's ready.
he
I don't
just
think-
got swept in the first round with Brooklyn. And look at their roster.
And that's the
Aside from Kyrie, I think we're better at every position in that roster.
No way.
Absolutely.
No, we don't even have a Joe Harris on this team.
Seth was a
Unless you-
sniper. I
Right.
really wish we could
Joe
get
Harris
Curry
didn't
on this team.
Say that again.
Joe Harris didn't play.
Joe Harris didn't play, but Seth Curry did. I would love to have Seth Curry on this team.
No, but Joe Harris is still on the team though.
Yeah, no.
So as long as they have Joe Harris, Seth Curry, they had Patty Mills, would have been our starting point guard last year.
But they play no defense. That's the problem. They don't play defense.
But the point, Ron, you're very quiet, so I'm gonna ask you
Oh
directly.
no!
I'm gonna ask you directly. I know you over there probably watching
Like,
the
for
summer
me, it
league
just would
game
be
or
for me,
something like that.
It would just have to be KD and somebody else. Like, I don't.
That's
see
what I'm saying. It would take
Right.
so much for this Knick team to be a championship. Like, we would need like Giannis and
five new players.
Giannis and Paul
Nah,
George.
not
Maybe if
five.
Giannis and Paul George
five.
joined our team, we would be
You
championship.
said
contenders.
Giannis
Like,
and Paul George. That would be nice,
I'm
but it
just
would have
saying,
to
like,
be that. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how far away we are.
Right.
Like,
right.
we would need so much to be championship contenders. I
Especially
don't really
if-
see a path forward.
Especially if you're gonna just pick two people that never played before and just drop them on a team. Like, it's not like organically made like somebody like Golden State or the Spurs back in the day. If you just dropped a superstar on this team, they would not win a championship.
You
Not one.
never know. Before this season that just passed,
Mhm.
did you look at Boston Celtics and thought they would make it to the finals?
No,
I did not.
Okay,
I did not.
I did not.
anything can happen.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
true.
anything can
but it's
happen.
like
They
You-
very easily beat up Brooklyn in the first round. Like I didn't see that coming at all. Like
Right.
But Brooklyn was that chemistry wasn't there. Kyrie was like, I think
Yeah.
if Brooklyn had run it back, they would have been they would have been difficult. With Kyrie there for the entire season, with KD not having to miss, I don't know, weeks of the season with an injury.
And Harden was still there.
Yeah, with Simmons coming back.
I think they're gonna run it back. I don't think anybody's getting traded.
You don't think so?
I think
it's a possibility they won't get traded either.
I think they want to grab the headline. They're looking for attention, and that's why they put that out there. I don't think
I don't
they're
know about
serious. Listen, man.
no,
don't know.
I think one of those guys is gone. One of them is getting
Like
out of
the
here.
headliner, man. Y'all seen him on social media, man. He wants to be. He's Kevin Durant. He wants people to talk about him. So they put it out there. If it happens, it happens. But I don't think they seriously want to be traded.
One thing I like about the Nets, though, they refuse to allow them to take them hot to take over the team. They put their foot down in terms of the type of team they want to be. And if you want out, you want out. I don't think the Nets are gonna just trade him just because he wants out. I think they're gonna hold out for a really good package.
Right.
E. Gibson, appreciate you. Detroit is really the model of building a rebuild. You guys are underestimating. Look at the young players Detroit has. So it's not just about having draft picks on your roster. It's about having the right draft picks on your roster. Draft picks that are going to turn into stars.
Yep.
That's the difference.
OKC is banking on that right now.
Yeah.
OKC's going to be good too.
Yeah.
They
I
are.
mean, look at how many
They are.
years Golden State was in the doldrums. They was building through the draft for years, decades, until they drafted Steph Curry, and that took them to another level. And then they drafted Clay and Draymond. So it's not just about drafting; it's about hitting on those draft picks, and that's a
Right.
big difference.
Yeah, none of them
Let me say,
top 5 picks either.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
Ron.
I was just going to say, you know, one is, you know, you do have to get the right guys. Like, for example, with OKC, this Chet Holmgren, man, he is like 10 pounds soaking wet. But let me tell you, this kid could ball, man. He got 20-something points and like 6 blocks. Like he's killing it.
I'm watching him
So,
now. He's going to be a problem.
He's
He's
real.
At the top of the key.
Right. And you think about how long OKC has been struggling until they hit. So they hit on Shy. Looks like they hit on Giddey. They hit on Holmgren. You got to hit on the guys. Not just how many times the Knicks went through the draft.
Right.
If you don't hit on those guys, it's not going to be any movement in your
And I guess you could say they hit on. I mean, I don't necessarily agree fully, but he's very good on the defensive end. I guess you could say they hit on Dort too. To give him $87 million.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because even with Golden State, you know, Steph Curry is the superstar, but they hit on Draymond as well. You know, he
Hit
may
on
not
Clay
be a
too.
superstar, but they hit on him. You know, so
And that was what I was gonna say, Steph, because I'm gonna forget when you was talking about when Ajay was mentioning the whole thing about if would the Knicks be in contention to get to that next step if we had like Kevin Durant. You could be that way. If you got the guts of this team with Kevin Durant, yes, you can get closer to that, but you would need something to break that you're not expecting. You would need to include a piece like a Lou Dort would have to be on this team. You would need a Keels to step up and be like a Marcus Smart type. Like something you're not expecting needs to happen for us to get to that next level.
Yeah, that's why I say anything can happen.
Yeah. Because just one player, it's going to be hard. And I think Brunson can be and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Brunson could be a point guard on a championship contending team. But I don't think him and Durant would be enough.
Oh no, I completely agree with you. Yeah, I could definitely see him being a point guard on a championship team. But if he's going to be like the second best player on the team, nah. I don't see it.
Yeah, something else like Ron said would have to break.
Right.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of luck with that stuff.
Oh my God! Now watch with the tampering. We got to give up a first round pick. Watch.
Don't say that.
Nah, that can't happen. Adam Silver's got to hold us down, man.
All right. So speaking of building through the draft, I don't think we can compare the Knicks to OKC. OKC's like they've been in the top 3, 4, 5 picks for like, I don't know, feels like 8 years. We only had the third pick once.
Nah,
the point I'm trying to make is going to be hard to build through the draft when you're drafting where we're drafting and you're not hitting on those picks.
No, but that's the thing. The best players, the ones that we're talking about, none of them were high picks except for Chet.
That's true.
Giddey was not that high. He was top 10, but he wasn't top 5.
Steph Curry,
not top 5. Shea,
Giannis.
Yep, Shea's not top 5.
We actually passed on SGA. We passed
on a lot of people, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah. So we gotta if we want to build through the draft, we gotta hit. You know, I think we hit on RJ. You know, but you need more than that.
Right. If anything, for us, our luck is Cam and Obi. Like they are two top 10 picks that need to hit for us. They're the
I
other
don't
two
see
top 10
Obi
picks.
being a star, and I don't see. I see RJ being the closest to a star on this roster. Anything can happen.
Right.
Obviously, I see RJ being the closest
I think
to doing
Cam Reddish is gonna be a star, but probably on another team. I don't see him get.
that.
It's gonna hurt, but
Yep. See, it won't even hurt for me that much because we ain't draft Cam. I think it all like I think we got him as a
still we
trade
had.
chip.
Come on, we had him slip right through our fingers, man. He goes somewhere else and start balling, becomes Brendan Ingram kind of player. We're gonna be like, man,
Yeah, that is true.
it's not on that.
That's true.
Yeah,
He
but
has the potential, but that's up to him.
right, and you got to keep in mind it's his 4th year in the league. You know, some players do develop slower, but the Knicks have to pay him. You know, he's a free agent. He'll be a restricted free agent, so they have to give him a qualifying offer. If they don't, he becomes a restricted free agent.
That's another problem because he came in same time as RJ.
Correct.
So that's tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
The same thing with OB and IQ. Their contracts come at the same as that time.
I think is it next year or
the year after?
No, they're the year after. So we got 2 more years for IQ and Obi. But it's the point is we're gonna have to deal with both of them at the same time.
At the same time.
Right.
Yep.
See, somebody's gonna have to go, man.
And then right after that,
I mean, you can go over your salary. You can go over the salary cap to sign your own players. I mean, that's what Golden State has been doing. Like they're gonna, they can go over to re-sign. Whose contract is up? I think it's Wiggins. Not sure.
Poole.
Yeah,
they can go over the cap to sign him. So as long as the Knicks don't mind, if they go, at some point you get into the luxury tax and you're gonna have to pay for that.
Right. That don't mean James Dolan gonna want to do that.
If it's not a championship quality
exactly.
Team. Yeah.
You can't blame them.
Like they do that at Golden State because look what Golden State has been doing.
Right.
But if we're losing, or even if we're just a playoff team getting bounced out of the first or second round for the next 3 years, that I wouldn't, even as a fan, I wouldn't pay over the luxury tax either. That's not good business. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Cam is the only 6'8" small forward on the team.
The public enemy number 1, Cam and Fournier will be shipped.
I can see that.
You should see.
I could definitely see that.
I don't want to get rid of Fournier, man.
Paris Duggar, how can you be high on Sims and Obi and not be high on RJ, who's done more than both of them put together? I just don't get it.
I think fans just have,
they just have their favorites.
I think Paris Duggar. I think I'm surprised because I never really. I mean, I always hear him talking about Sims and Obi, but now I see that you value athleticism, Paris. I think that's a big key to what you're looking at.
Okay.
That's what it is. He likes athleticism, and RJ is definitely he's not that athletic type guy, and a lot of Knicks aren't. So I guess that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you just see the game and who you're a fan of. As a player.
But guys, some guys don't need to be athletic. Like Julius Randle, like he don't need to be athletic. I mean, this guy's like a Mack truck down there. His game is in his power, I think. And
if he uses it,
Right. He's not engaged every game and every minute, every game, but his power that's where his strength is. He goes
and the funny thing is Julius was very athletic, but he sapped some of that athleticism because he's gotten so big.
Right.
Well, he's looking smaller now.
That's true. That's true. He looked like he's going to be in shape this season.
Maybe we'll get
next season.
Maybe
this type of shape. Ain't no way we're gonna be able to judge that until he's.
You already know that I want him to talk to multiple therapists before this next season starts. Get all the help, bro. If you're looking at this right now, Julius Randle, get all the help you need.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Francisco Carrillo, you are absolutely right. There aren't too many perfect players.
That is true.
Yeah.
So that's why we get to talk about pretty much everybody because nobody's perfect.
Yeah, we are not very athletic. And I'm the first one to say that I'm okay if you're not athletic, but because I need you to know how to play and I need you
Right.
to have high basketball IQ. But if you have both of those and you are athletic, man, does it really help? Does it
Yep.
really help?
It don't
Um,
even look to me. When Cam is out there, he looked different than everybody else just because he's so athletic and talented.
Mm.
Not saying that he's the best IQ, but just IQ wise. But him even being out there, I could just tell he's more talented than everybody else on the floor
Yeah, he is right.
just by the way he moves.
It comes easy for him, right?
comes natural.
Comes
Yeah.
natural to him.
Yeah.
You can
no
tell he's a
effort.
natural basketball
Yeah.
player.
And I would say, like, sometimes people say, he looks passive. Some guys, like Durant,
Yep.
I'm sure they playing hard, but it just doesn't look that way because they're just so smooth. Cam could be one of those guys where you may look at him and be like, yo, this guy's so nonchalant.
Yep.
But it's they just smooth with it. So it looks that way.
Brought up Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram was like that too.
That's why comparing Cam Reddish to Brandon Ingram. I keep telling you. In about 2 years, he's gonna be.
But why does he need so much? 2 years? There's gonna be 6 years in. I mean, what?
That's how long it took Brandon Ingram, like 5 years to be.
Nah. Brandon popped. This is probably his 3rd year popping. I mean, Cam. Yeah, let's see.
He needs to stay healthy. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I retweeted that thing again. I'm sorry, Jarrell. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that if Cam can stay healthy and actually can show his talents, I think in the long run he'll be fine. But it's like when he started to get going with us, he got hurt.
Well, I mean, he's always kind of been funky with the injuries, but he's been playing a little bit more in recent times until he got with the Knicks. It seems like it's coming back again with the injury stuff. I retweeted that old video, and it's funny watching it now because now I know some of the people in the video. There's a video of some young players talking about who the hardest person for them to guard was, and they were talking about Cam and guy was saying, yeah, Cam dropped 40 on us, and he was talking to this other dude, and at the time I didn't know who that other dude. Now we know because now we've seen these guys. Like Maxi's in the video, and he was talking to Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards was like, yeah, we played him. I'm not going to tell you how much he dropped, but it was more than 40. So it's
wow.
Cam
this was in college?
Yeah, this was like back, during those high school days when they were doing the AAU tournaments and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so Cam was really getting busy. I mean, he was like, they were talking about Cam like if he was like Durant level.
Yes.
Right. But he has that type of talent. It's just just reaching it.
Told you Cam grew up in my area. Like they thought of him as the one around here. Like
can you imagine he turns into one of those guys while he playing for the Knicks?
Yeah. That would change everything for us.
Oof. That would definitely change everything.
Yeah. I need him to come into training camp and leave no doubt in anybody's mind that he should be the starting small forward on his team. He has the talent. That's up to him. And I don't want to hear, the coach is holding him back. Coaches want to win. You come in there and you dropping it and you playing well, you're going to play.
Right.
So let's see. I can't imagine if he come in playing on that level that he doesn't play. Yeah.
We shall see. I hope it works out for Cam, man.
Yeah, because if it works out for him, it works out for us.
Right.
At 6'8", we don't have nothing like that on this team other than Cam.
Actually, you know what? Let me say this to RC Creative. Let me tell you a little secret that most people don't know when it comes to me and Cam. I actually didn't like Cam. The only reason why I started liking Cam is because he's a Knick. I thought Cam was going to be a bust in the league because I never saw Cam do anything more than play 5 or 6 minutes on the court. Every time I think Cam's gonna get going, he gets hurt or he's streaky, he's wilding out. I just always thought Cam was gonna be a bust. But I've looked
okay.
at what he can do out there, and I know that he has so much potential. I'm just not one of those who really believes in it. I just don't want to say it because I want my Knicks to do well, and I want the kid to succeed. I don't see it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Ron. Okay. All right.
I'm so I don't want to say it, but I feel like I need to say it because I don't want people to think that I'm in love with Cam's game and who
Right.
he'll be because that's not me. I really think Cam is not going to make it. I think the smartest thing the Knicks can do is try to trade Cam now while you can get something for him.
Which I would not be shocked.
I mean, Cam is definitely he could be T Mac or he could be Big Mac. Like like we don't know what we're gonna get from Cam.
Shout out to D Public Enemy #1. I think Cam does have star talent, but there's a difference between having the star talent and manifesting it. Having the star talent and playing at a star level is two different things. So I agree with you, D Public Enemy. He was on Atlanta. Atlanta moved off from him. They know him intimately. I'm sure he was practicing. He was in their system. And they chose to sign Herder and Hunter over him.
Only thing, I don't think that was us hating on Obi though. Like, because to be honest, Obi hasn't showed anything for us to. Oh, okay, my bad.
You don't want to upset the fan
He's
base.
I'm about to say
No,
that.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that. When it comes to showing stuff around the league, honestly, Cam has actually shown more than Obi has at this point.
all right. So let me
Not
ask.
on the Knicks, but in the
Around
league.
so far.
In the league when he was with Atlanta, he has. But yeah, I think the jury is out on both of them.
Right. So what was the trade again? So we gave him Kevin Knox and that Charlotte first round pick.
Yeah.
Give us Cam Reddish.
Mm-hmm.
And so Atlanta they just let Kevin Knox go. So they basically gave up on Cam Reddish for a protected first round pick, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then Knox just signed with Detroit, I believe.
Detroit
For 2 years,
Right.
$6 million.
That doesn't look good on Cam Reddish's resume that they just traded him for.
Right. But the talent is there. I think the issue is, do you believe he's going to eventually get there? And I think Atlanta just pulled the plug and just said, nah, he might, but we're not taking any chances. Let's take this first round pick.
And plus, I believe I might be wrong, but I think Cam is the one who requested a trade, though.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
So I don't know if the writing was on the wall for him, though. So that's why he requested it. Like, you never know.
Right.
Then they just got rid of Herder.
They
but
did.
then they got Murray, so it all works out for them.
It all. Yeah.
Some teams, I don't know what they're doing out there, man. They try to focus on the Knicks, but I don't know what some of those teams are doing.
What they trying to win, and they moving all these chips to the center of the table, middle of the table. If it doesn't work out,
Right.
I mean, you figure Herder's a piece of the puzzle, like
But where's he gonna play though? If you got
if you bring Murray in there, I mean, I almost don't care about Herder anymore.
Yeah, and it might be a salary. It might be salary issues as well.
Right. I think there was a reason why they traded him.
Right.
Because they still got Bogdan, so they still got a shooter as a wing. So
I would have got rid of Bogdan. But I mean, listen, so the DeJounte Murray, he's
Bogdan is better than Herder though. I think.
But I was gonna say Herder is a better shooter than the DeJounte Murray, I think.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he is. But that's it.
He is.
You can't say he better than anything else.
And he's not a terrible defender.
Who?
Herder. Not better though.
No, not better. No, I mean Murray's better. That's
right.
Much better, I think.
So. Are we serious?
I'm leaving.
With it official, or are you just trolling us?
Yeah, that's a troll, man. Especially after getting Brunson. I'd be mad as hell if Rose was a starting point guard regardless. Though.
Yeah.
If we didn't have Brunson, we should be getting somebody else other than Rose.
Thank God they got rid of Alec Burks because he'd be starting even with Brunson.
Right. Thank God. See, that's all I wanted.
I think he would be. He wouldn't be starting, but he would be back in his usual role on the bench, and then that would definitely mean less minutes for Grimes or Cams, and no doubt about it. No doubt
because
about it.
Tibbs would have definitely played him. Maybe not at the point. He definitely would have got a lot of burn though.
Yeah.
Noel too, if he was on this team. We wouldn't even be talking about Sims anymore if they didn't trade Noel. Because healthy,
Noel
he would have played.
No doubt. I mean, let's not forget, Brick Hands, I like to call him 50-50. He'll catch 50%. He'll catch 50% of the balls and not. Would you call him hands and feet? Let's not forget, Mitch played maybe 30-something games that season. Noel was, our starting center when we, made it to the playoffs. So when healthy, he definitely can contribute, even though he drives you crazy, missing passes.
Right.
Yeah, he drives you crazy.
The passes, the ball hit him in the head, like in the face.
Yeah. And some of those passes, I'm like, look, if you're gonna hit Noel, it got to be up top. All these shovel passes and stuff like that's a turnover.
See, my thing is, don't hit Noel. Don't even pass him the ball. Nope. No, he got the worst hands of a center I think I might have ever seen.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's not. Yeah. Anything else that we didn't hit on today that you want to hit on before we close out?
One thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Bothers me. Mm-hmm. So the summer league team.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Yashimoto the coach? Why not Johnny Bryant? Why don't they give Johnny Bryant like a run at it?
I think Johnny Bryant is
I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah, you think he would? I mean, he's an associate head coach. I don't know if that's the one you have doing summer league though.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know how they designate those coaching decisions, to be honest, because he was our summer league coach for the past 2 years, right? Ever since Tibbs was there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
I mean, I
guess that's his assignment, but I don't know why that's his assignment though.
Right.
I have no idea. And plus, when it comes to Johnny Bryant, that's an enigma that I don't know about too. He's an assistant head coach, but we don't really know exactly what he does well, if he was our head coach or a head coach, period. So,
C-Mac, shout out to C-Mac, rocking with us. CAA affiliate.
The greatest ham sandwich. Hey, yo,
listen,
come on,
get off my guy. That's my guy right there.
Don't do that, man. Not Grimes. He's not a ham sandwich, man.
Listen,
no.
we interviewed his trainer on Nothing But Knicks. If you didn't get a chance to watch that video, go to Nothing But Knicks, go to video tabs, and you'll be able to see it. I think it was maybe a month or so ago. And he said Grimes can already play off the dribble. It's just that that's not his role on the Knicks. His role is to hit 3-pointers and play defense. But that because that's what I asked him. I said, do you think he's going to develop a mid-range game? I see that as the next evolution to his game. He said he already has that. But that's not what they're asking him to do.
Right.
I hope they allow him to do it next season. We can use it.
Watching Grimes in high school and coming up in college a little bit, yeah, he definitely has that. But will he do that on the Knicks? That remains to be seen.
Eddie C. Appreciate you. Right out of Costa Rica, if I'm not mistaken, Eddie C. Let me know if I'm mistaken, but I believe that's correct. Now, see, I see RJ Barrett being closer to
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. I see, when I think about RJ Barrett's path to stardom, I see him as an all-around player, rebounder, playmaker, somebody who excels going downhill, adequate at the 3-point line, can defend. At the high end, that's Jimmy Butler. at the low end, something like Wiggins.
If the
But that's
low
I
is
see
Wiggins, that's
that's
pretty
not
bad.
bad. But it took Wiggins a minute to
Right.
to get. And I think RJ is a better playmaker than Wiggins, but Wiggins
Yes,
is definitely a better defender
and more
um,
athletic.
and
Period.
more athletic than RJ Barrett. But that's the kind of star I see. And some people don't even consider Butler a star, but that's the type of star. That's how I see RJ Barrett
Right.
at
How do
his
you,
best. Mhm.
these people kill me. How do you not consider Jimmy Butler a star?
Some people really don't, just because the flashiness.
Because he's not flashy, he's not great from
Right.
yeah. RJ is better at the 3-point line, but
It's the flashiness, and you don't see him in commercials and stuff. He's not really,
He's a
in the limelight like that.
real bucket getter. He's a hell of
Right.
a defensive player. He's really good, man.
I agree.
yeah, no, I see. Yeah, and his mindset, his will to win.
I can see that too. Paul Pierce is another.
Paul Pierce is
Now,
another one.
just
Now,
that confidence.
well,
Paul
hold
was
up.
so smooth on offense, though, man. And like even dating back to when he was young, like that's the only thing on offense I don't compare him to Paul Pierce, though.
Yeah, and Paul Pierce was clutch. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
tell you how it seemed like he beat us on last second shots all the time.
Right.
You know, um, I don't think Barrett is a great defensive player right now. I think he's a willing defender.
Mm-hmm.
So he's willing to guard the top wing players on the other team, but his lateral quickness is not that great. So I think his
Right.
defense is something that he has to get better at. And I think there's room to grow,
Mm-hmm.
on the defensive. And what I like about him is that he wants to be a two-way player.
Right. I
Like,
think that's the same with RJ when it comes to almost every category. Like he's almost lacking in almost every category when it comes to basketball, but he has the willingness to get better at all of those
right,
categories, though.
right.
At least
What
to
would
me.
you like to see from RJ next season?
Huh?
The next step in his development.
Oh, for me, it's just going to be just continue to do what he was doing. Like he got more aggressive after the All-Star break. We saw that. Well, not All-Star break. After what
Mhm.
he said, New Year's.
Yeah, New
He
Year's.
said he had some, talking to his trainer. New Year's is on now. As long as he keeps ascending, I think RJ will be fine.
Can I chime in on this one?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Shoot his free throws.
That's what
Oh my
NEC said as well.
Yep.
If RJ Barrett was shooting 78, 80%, like there's at least 5-7 more games we would have won this season if he was hitting the free throws.
Yeah.
And he would average.
And the rest of the team too. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He would have no problem averaging over 20 points a game if he actually hit his free throws.
Yep.
It wouldn't even
Right.
be a question then.
Oh, all right. I would like to see him, in addition to his free throws, I would like to see him finish better at the basket. That's his game. He plays downhill. That's fine. He takes a good percentage of his shots below the 3-point line. I need you to be better at converting on those. So I would like to see that, and I would like to see him be a little more efficient.
Right.
He scored 20 points, but he had to take a lot of shots to do it. Brunson is here now. He's going to probably take more shots than Burks did. I don't know. Burks took a good amount of shots.
I want him to take more shots than Burke did, though. I think he's a better player.
Right. But what I mean is that's less shots for RJ. So if you still want to average 20, it's going to be because you're more efficient, not because you're going to get more, more opportunities.
Unless Randle shoots less.
Randle could shoot less too. You know what? I'm so
He can, but will he?
to Randle. I think so. I think so. Handling the ball less. Like that is my dream. This is what I'm looking for next season. Just go to your spot. We don't need you to help bring the ball down. We don't need you to facilitate the offense. We don't need none of that. Just go to your spot. We got somebody to do that now. Right. And I think that's going to make him more efficient because his decision, he has less responsibility. Save all of that energy for the defensive end, and when you finally do get the ball. And I'm hoping he becomes more efficient that way. Shout out to Rayology. Appreciate you, my brother. Salute to you guys. Salute to the chat. Hope all is well with you. Anything else before we
Nah, I think it was a good show. We pretty much covered everything. Salute to Agi. What's your name again, bro? Agi?
Ajay.
Ajay. Okay.
Ajay.
Oh, the D is in there. It's not silent.
No,
Right,
it's
that's
not Ajay.
Ajay.
Right.
So, and thanks for having me, man. This is my first one,
Absolutely.
and I thought I was gonna be nervous and shaking, and
Whoa, this is your first time on Dope Soul, but you've been
no, I've called in. I've called in. I've called in.
Oh,
on
this
the
your first
NBK.
time on the panel? Oh,
Yeah, that's the first time on the
What's
panel.
up?
Yeah, nah, you was good. You was good.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
I
But
didn't even know.
I've called your show like several times.
For Queen's Court? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anytime. Whenever I drop the link and you want to hop on, feel free. Feel free to do so. You bought something to the panel. I thought you was a pro. I didn't know this was your
Word, man. It was pretty good. Salute to Ron too.
Yeah, definitely. My brother Ron, still Knick fans.
And the chat as usual was on fire.
Of course.
Yeah.
Salute to the chat, man.
Yeah, definitely salutes to the chat.
Always.
Yeah. Rayology, Witted Official, Paris Duggar, appreciate you. We cool, Paris. I know I get on you, so I get on you sometime, and you get on me sometimes, but we cool.
Yeah, man.
Greedy Grizz, JJ, David G, Old Head, Rayology, of course, D Public Enemy #1. Sherwin N was in here, Francisco Carrillo, David G. If I missed anybody, I appreciate all of you for, you could be anywhere. C Mac dropped in, Eddie C straight from Costa Rica. Appreciate you. Greedy Giz, or is that Grizz?
Old Head. Don't forget
Old Head. Yeah. Oh yeah.
God.
Y'all help me out if I'm missing somebody. Old Head, I appreciate you. I think
Geraldine was in here earlier.
Yeah, Geraldine was in here. Appreciate you as well. Rebuild New York Knicks.
Ally Wise was in here earlier.
Ally Wise, appreciate you.
Yep.
All right.
Angel Blue. D Public Enemy #1.
Yes, and 914's Finest was in here as well.
Right. Building Blocks. I seen him earlier. I remember he was in here.
You're Building Blocks, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, salute to everybody, man. We get regulars on the Tuesday nights, man. You're starting to learn everybody's names and stuff. That's how I know.
For sure. Yeah, so I appreciate you, Ajay.
Yes.
For joining us. Jarrell, you already know.
Joel,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
You already know. I may be back Friday after the Knicks Summer League game. They play at 8, probably end around 10. I might be on Friday night. I will see. Just to talk about that game real short. I always say it's not going to be a 2-hour thing, but you never know once you
right?
It's not going to be a 2 hour. It's going to be a 3-hour thing.
Right.
At 11:30.
You think so? It's an 8 o'clock game. It better not.
Man, I don't know. It ain't gonna be over at 10 though.
You don't think so?
Nah, probably a little over that. You never know, man. This the Knicks. They're gonna drag it out just because it's us.
Yeah, I'll see now. If it's ending at 11 o'clock, I may have to see y'all another day.
See you the next day. It's all good.
But anyway, we out. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button so I'll be notified. So you'll be notified anytime I go live or drop a video. You can also catch me on Nothing But Knicks Queen's Court, Mondays at 8 p.m. Tomorrow, I'll be co-hosting with Tony Crowe on the crossover, also on Nothing But Knicks. But I'm here Tuesdays when the season starts. I'll be dropping my post-game video after each game. And then I got to find a co-host. I'm looking for a co-host because I want to do a quarterly evaluation on the Knicks every 20 games. So that's just 4 shows, just a deep dive on their season up to that point. So the channel will grow. I want to do some sport and society stuff and really talk about things outside of the lines of basketball. So I think Sim and I are going to do that. We'll see. But it's just really getting the getting the topics. So
It's nice.
yeah, look forward to that as well. Other than that, we out. Be easy, be safe. Until
All
next
right.
time, Knick family.
All right. Peace
Peace,
out.
peace.